He is Jalen Rose. I am
dog?
David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
Give the people what they want.
Quick question for you, Jalen. Where my home
Where they
is?
at? Where they at?
Where my home is?
Where they at? Where they at?
Patrick Mahomes got paid. He just signed a 10-year contract with $140 million guaranteed, up to $503 million. Jalen, what do you think of this big deal for Patrick Mahomes?
Good Lord, that's a lot of money. That's what I think.
Oof.
It's a game-changing deal. Anytime you look down at a piece of paper and it has your name and your social security number, and it's $503 million that you could potentially earn over the next 12 seasons to play football. And while the number is staggering, the large one, I can't front Jacoby. The guaranteed money at around 145 wasn't so much when I looked at the two people that were behind him, and Jared Goff and Carson Wentz got 107. I would have thought his guarantees would be double theirs. And you know what else stood out to me, Jacoby? The length of the contract.
Long contract.
We talked so many times about NFL players being paid. When was the last time you seen one get a deal this long? He has 5 more guaranteed years than anybody else in the league. And look at that list. None of those are quarterbacks. So if you're the Kansas City Chiefs and their general manager, he did an amazing job of locking up a transcendent talent that can't be traded over the next decade. That's investing into the franchise. That's what they got from Patrick Mahomes.
And there's a word that Patrick Mahomes used that I want to bring up, and that is dynasty. He saw what Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and the Patriots did. He sees what Andy Reid and himself can do because he has a lot of pieces around him, unlike Tom Brady. When you look at Kansas City's skilled positions and what they have, they're loaded. Williams, They just drafted Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill, Watkins, McCole Hardman, and of course, one of the best, if not the best, tight ends in the game, Travis Kelce. This could be a dynastic team moving forward in a stacked AFC. I'm so excited for what Kansas City has done here. Jalen, what else sticks out to you?
Well, what sticks out to me is you put those skilled players up there and you forget about the puppet master, Eric Bieniemy. What happens with him next? 10-year deal at Andy Reid's age? Does he turn over the team to him in 3 seasons? If I'm Bieniemy, I stay right there. So I want to be the person to put this on wax. Not only do they have their head coach, they have their next head coach, along with the quarterback and all of those weapons you just put up on the screen. And by the way, the guaranteed money, Jacoby, Patrick Mahomes, that's NBA money. NBA money. He's getting NBA money. Look at those averages per year. All of a sudden, the quarterback position, this becomes a game changer because of the average 45, the big number 500, and the lengthy number 10 years. Those are the things that make it game changing as we move forward to see how it affects other quarterbacks and players moving forward.
And he deserves this. He absolutely deserves this. He is the most exciting young quarterback, arguably Lamar Jackson. But one of the things about this is you get this kind of a 10-year deal when you just won the Super Bowl. Because if you remember, this was a close Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes got the ball, told his teammates he's going to take him down the score, and then did exactly that. This is a 4th and 15. If this is not a completion, they don't win the Super Bowl, he doesn't get this kind of money. So after you perform like that in the Super Bowl on that stage and kiss the Lombardi Trophy, that's when you go to the negotiating table and say, I want 10 years, I want over $400 million. And they'll say, fine, here you go, here's the deal. What an amazing, amazing job that they have done,
Absolutely.
both as a franchise and as an individual player.
And also, while 40+ million people have filed for unemployment, we're dealing in a pandemic with the coronavirus, and companies are laying off people and furloughing people. You're the backup linebacker. You're trying to go in and get a deal. You know what the company's telling you? Oh, we don't have the money. We're trying to figure it out.
Nope.
And then all of a sudden, you're $1 billion company, and Patrick Mahomes comes in and it's time to pay him. You find a way to figure it out. Just business $500 for everybody out there.
$500 million. Well, here's another question. This doesn't just benefit the Mahomes family, who's going to be set for quite some time. This also benefits some others waiting to get their contracts. People like Dak Prescott, people like Deshaun Watson, and in a couple of years, Lamar Jackson. What do you think they're on the phone telling their agents right now?
They like good looking. They ain't on the phone with their agents. They hitting up Patrick Mahomes. That's what they're doing. Because in theory, he set the bar in 3 different ways, Jacoby. That's what I mean. You can be one of those guys and be Dak and say, or you can be Lamar and say, I want to go for the years. I want more than just 3 or 4 years. Or then you can be Dak. You can be like, I want to go for average. Or you can be a guy like Deshaun Watson. In his situation, it's like, y'all got to give me the years and or the average, or I'm out. Because I know I'm a franchise quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see how it progresses moving forward. But you will be seeing players as this deal age actually at some point make more than he's making. That's just how this works.
We will see. There's been about 4 or 5 other contracts in the history of the NFL that have been this length. And of all of those, most have been quarterbacks, if not all. None of those finished their career on that team. We will see if Patrick Mahomes is different. Well, one player that's not going to finish his season on his team is a gentleman by the name of Bradley Beal, who has just announced that he will not be going to Orlando to play in the bubble. He cited a shoulder injury. Jalen, one thing I've noticed is that players on teams that don't have legitimate chances of going deep in the playoffs are much more likely to have little injuries that keep them out of the bubble. What do you think?
When you're an essential worker and you need to pay all of your bills, you take more chances going to work. If you have a nest egg and some money in the bank and you still getting unemployment, you consider whether you want to go to work or not. And Bradley Beal, who averaged almost 30 this year, is dealing with a shoulder issue. They won't have John Wall. It's just not in his long-term best interest to be in Orlando playing basketball in the bubble.
Well, another player that will not be joining the bubble will join a lot of his teammates not coming to the bubble, and that is Spencer Dinwiddie, who was on the fence earlier. He has now announced that he is not going to Orlando. The Nets have committed as a franchise to field a team in Orlando. Is it at this point, as I suggested earlier, that maybe they just shouldn't go?
My phone ringing. Hold on.
What happened? Wait. They need someone to hit some corner threes? The Nets need someone to hit some corner threes? You're out of shape. I've seen you run. They don't want you.
His nickname is Kiwi. He asked me, do I want to go run? But I ain't trying to be in the bubble. I ain't trying to be in the bubble. I'm not going to be able to do it.
It is time for some very important news that matters. Jalen, you're constantly innovating and progressing and making yourself better. And one way you have done so in the last few years is you got some waves. You've been brushing, you've been putting the oil in, wearing the do-rag.
Out the
guess what?
The ledge.
We have some wave innovation. Take a look at this gentleman who's taken his time in the quarantine to wave up the beard. Jalen, your thoughts?
That's dope. I got to ask a couple of questions. I grew up with bad skin forever, and I can't be putting any kind of hair products on my face. That's breakout waiting to happen 101. It looks dope on him. He look a little like Malcolm Jenkins, but I'm telling you, his beard looks dope, and I can't grow one. I got to get some tips.
There is a game-changing free agent in the NFL that is still not signed, but we have some indication on where he might land. We'll tell you who that is right after this. We're 2 minutes. We'll be back. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, we have a segment where you decide what we discuss. It is called Keep It Moving.
Wu-Tang.
If you want to discuss the topic, you say hit the brakes. If not, you and Method Man jump in the minivan and keep it moving. We start with some new information about Earvin Magic Johnson's Twitter.
Hit the brakes.
Keep moving or hit the brakes. Earvin Magic Johnson is often criticized and mocked and also celebrated for his Twitter persona. However, he has revealed that he does not write his own tweets. Are you surprised and do you believe him?
idol, legend, Hall of Fame mogul. I am not surprised. Over the years, so many times the public has made fun of his Twitter feed and how they felt that they were G-rated. Now it makes sense.
I think that he dictates them to somebody who then writes them. I think those are all his thoughts and feelings, but he doesn't actually write them into a phone. Honestly, that's what I think.
We got to bring him back on the show and ask him.
We got to ask him. And Laker friendly. Let's have him on the show. Let's have him on the show and ask him. Next, they have released the Major League Baseball schedule. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving for now. I'm just glad they're playing.
We keep it moving.
We'll see if they're playing. An update on the status of Jadeveon Clowney. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
He's going to end up somewhere getting a big check. Keep it moving for now.
We keep it moving.
Okay, we'll keep moving.
We keep it moving.
Bubba Wallace has signed an endorsement deal. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
Bubba Wallace has signed a deal with Beats by Dre. What do you think about this move?
Shout to Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre, Apple, my godfather John McClain to help Iovine start Interscope Records. These are the type of business ventures. Think about how that industry has progressed, Jacoby, as we've grown up. Listening to tapes and CDs and headphones, and then before you know it, you build $1 billion company like Beats by Dre, and you influence the culture in a way. As you see players getting on and off buses, music is always a part of what we do. It's a soundtrack. And so for Bubba Wallace in his sport to take the mantle of being the voice, the lone black person at a time of social unrest, I appreciate that company now saluting him by allowing him to be an endorser.
And I think that the incident that occurred with Bubba Wallace has exploded into this sort of divisive global conversation. But I want to bring it back to him as an individual. If you think about the roller coaster that he's been on, his team finds a noose in his garage and he feels offended and he gets all of this support. Then the FBI comes out and says, oh, it wasn't a hate crime against him. It's been there for a long time. Then there's this backlash and then it kind of bubbles down and then it gets a presidential tweet and then he gets a big deal from a big company like Apple. It has been quite a ride for him, and we will always be in his corner. We have one more. Nick Young is getting buckets. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
I'm just going to do this for Demetrius. Hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes. Let's take a look at Nick Young. A lot of players are putting out videos of them getting hoops on Instagram. This is him against what looks like about a 1.5-year-old baby son. He gets the bucket, turns around, and then after that, takes it a little bit too far. He steps over his own baby. He stepped over his own child. All right,
first off,
boss move, stepping over your own baby.
At that size, soft move. Once they old enough to defend themselves, it's a boss move. But it didn't look like that went in. That looked like that one at the Staples Center that he shot and walked away.
It went in.
Oh, that means he practiced it multiple times.
We have an update on who is going to help LeBron make a championship run in Orlando. We'll tell you who that is in just 2 minutes when Jalen Jacoby returns. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, I have good news for Laker fans. Dwight Howard will be joining the Lakers in Orlando, and he will be donating his salary to Breathe Again, a not-for-profit. And let me tell you quickly why this is so important. One thing you don't want to see, JaVale McGee play twice as many minutes. Another thing you don't want to see, Anthony Davis play a lot of minutes at the center position. This is an important piece for the Lakers. They've finally come together. That's why they are my championship pick. What do you think about Dwight Howard going to the bubble?
He's been giving them quality minutes up front, rebounding, blocking shots, doing a better job of switching out on pick and roll situations, giving them those 6 fouls up front. And I agree with you. He spent a long time playing in Orlando. And so I'm pretty sure he's going to be motivated not only to win the championship. I am happy that he's donating his salary and allowing his voice to still be heard socially while he's participating in basketball games.
Jalen, big news. T.I. has challenged Curtis 50 Cent Jackson to a versus battle. Jalen, he might be biting off a little bit more than he can chew with this one. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to hit up the King Swiss Beats about this one. Two of the most rugged, ferocious, bar-spitting MCs in the industry. One representing Atlanta, Georgia, and one representing New York City.
We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Dan Le Batard is next.